All right, welcome to the Fire Tetrahedron Challenge. Over the next few minutes, we're gonna put your fire safety smarts to the ultimate test. And look, this isn't just some random quiz. Knowing this stuff could literally save a life, maybe even your own, not to mention your workplace. Plus, if you're prepping for that OSHA 10 or 30 exam, you're definitely gonna wanna pay attention. All right, you ready? Let's dive in. So let me paint a picture for you. You've got a small fire starting in a workshop. Someone, in a total panic, grabs the first extinguisher they see. It's a water one. They blast it on a puddle of burning solvent. And what happens? Whoosh. Instead of going out, the fire explodes across the floor. It spreads like wildfire, trapping people, and turns what was a tiny, manageable problem into an absolute catastrophe. And believe me, this isn't just a story. It really happens. And that's exactly why we're here. So the real question is, are you prepared? Could you walk up to a fire and know in a split second what to do, and maybe, more importantly, what not to do? Well, we're about to find out. The challenge officially starts now. So listen up, because every single one of these questions is pulled from a real-life situation you could easily face at work. Okay, before we jump into the first question, you gotta know the rules of the game. And this right here is the rule book. Now, you've probably heard of the fire triangle, right? Well, that's kind of old school. Today, we know there's a fourth piece to the puzzle, which gives us the fire tetrahedron, and this is absolutely crucial. See, for a fire to exist, you need four things all at once: heat, fuel, oxygen, and the secret ingredient, a self-sustaining chemical chain reaction. So how do you beat a fire? Simple. You just have to break this tetrahedron. Every single fire extinguisher out there is designed to knock out at least one of these four sides. You either take away the heat, you smother the oxygen, you get rid of the fuel, or you stop that chemical reaction in its tracks. That's it. Every correct answer you give today will be doing one of those things. So, you ready to play? Okay, let's start with scenario number one. This is a classic. You're just doing your thing in the office, and then you see it. Flames are shooting out of a trash can. You look inside, and it's full of the usual stuff: paper, some cardboard, maybe somebody's lunch wrapper. The good news is it's still pretty small and it's just in the can. So what do? Which extinguisher do you grab? Is it A, the good old-fashioned water extinguisher, B, a carbon dioxide or CO2 extinguisher, or C, a Class D dry powder extinguisher? Which one is the absolute best choice here? Take a second, think it through. You can even pause if you need to. And the correct answer is A, the water extinguisher. If you picked that one, nice job. This is what we call a Class A fire. A good way to remember it is A is for ash, since it's stuff like wood and paper that leaves ash behind. Water works perfectly here because it attacks the heat side of that tetrahedron. It just cools everything down so it can't burn anymore. Now, why were the others wrong? Well, Class D is for something totally different. Think D for dangerous metals. It's for combustible metals like magnesium. We're talking super high-temperature fires you'd see in a specialty workshop, not from a paper fire in an office. All right, let's crank up the difficulty a bit. Scenario number two. Picture this. You're in a factory. Someone's knocked over a can of flammable solvent, and that puddle on the floor has just erupted into a nasty fire. You can see the vapors shimmering above it, feeding the flames, and man, it is spreading fast. Okay, what do you grab? A, the water extinguisher again? B, one of those ABC dry chemical extinguishers? Or C, a Class K wet chemical, the kind you see in kitchens? The stakes are way higher here. This is a dangerous one. What's the right move? If you said B, the ABC dry chemical, you nailed it. This is a textbook Class B fire. B is for boil or barrel. Think flammable liquids. And here's the secret that most people don't get. You're not actually fighting the liquid itself. You're fighting the invisible vapors coming off of it. That's why an ABC extinguisher is so brilliant. It shoots out this super fine powder that gets in there and just completely messes up the chemical chain reaction. It's like it shuts down the fire's engine on a molecular level. Pretty cool, right? And this is so important. Let's talk about why water is the absolute worst thing you could use here. I mean, it's not just wrong, it's disastrous. You see, water is heavier than gasoline or most solvents, so it just sinks straight to the bottom of the burning puddle. Then, the incredible heat from the fire instantly boils that water into steam. It expands violently, and boom! It splashes the burning fuel all over the room. You literally just spread the fire everywhere. A small problem just became a massive, out-of-control one. All right, scenario number three. Now we're adding another layer of danger, and it's a big one: electricity. You're in a server room, and you see smoke just
pouring out of an electrical panel. You can see sparks, there are some small flames, and you have to assume that thing is still energized, still live. So, what's it gonna be? A, water, B, foam, or C, carbon dioxide? And let me be crystal clear, your life is on the line with this one. Pick the wrong one and the electricity could travel right up the stream and kill you. What is the only safe choice?
The one and only safe answer is C, carbon dioxide, or CO2. This is a Class C fire. Think C for current, as in electrical current. The number one rule here is you need an extinguisher that doesn't conduct electricity. And CO2 is perfect because it's a gas. It floods the area, pushes all the oxygen out of the way, breaking the oxygen side of the tetrahedron, and smothers the fire. It also comes out crazy cold, which helps cool things down too. No risk of shock.
Now here's a pro tip, especially if you're taking an OSHA exam. A fire is only considered Class C as long as the power is on. See, the electricity isn't the fuel, it's the ignition source. The thing that's actually burning is probably the plastic wire insulation, which is Class A. So if you can safely kill the power, like hitting an emergency shutoff, it instantly stops being a Class C fire. It just becomes a regular Class A fire.
Okay, before we get to the next question, we need to clear something up that trips a lot of people up. We just talked about Class B fires, right? Flammable liquids. But there's a special, separate class for kitchens, and that's Class K. You might think, hey, cooking oil is a liquid. Isn't that Class B? And here's the difference. Cooking oils get way, way hotter than something like gasoline, and they hold on to that heat. That makes them super dangerous because they can just reignite on their own, even after you think you've put them out.
And that leads us perfectly into scenario number 4. You're in a busy restaurant kitchen. A big deep fryer is just poof. It's gone up in flames. It's a really intense fire, and that oil inside is dangerously hot. So what's the call? A, the all-purpose ABC dry chemical, B, water, or C, the special Class K wet chemical extinguisher. Now remember what I just said about that extreme heat and the danger of it reigniting. There's only one correct answer. What's it gonna be?
The correct answer is C, the Class K extinguisher. K is for kitchen, easy to remember. And this is where the science gets really, really cool. This extinguisher does 2 things at once. First, when the wet chemical hits the burning grease, it causes a reaction called saponification. It literally turns the top layer of the burning oil into a thick, soapy foam that can't burn, so it interrupts the chemical reaction. At the same time, the mist cools down that super hot oil, taking away the heat. It's a 1-2 punch that attacks 2 sides of the tetrahedron. All right, we've talked a lot about the gear, but this last scenario, this is the most important one of all. Because this one's not about putting out a fire. It's about saving your life. Imagine you open a door, and it's bad. The fire isn't in a trash can anymore. It's already spreading up a wall, the room is filling with thick, black smoke, and you don't hear a fire alarm going off. So, what is your very first, most important move? Is it A, you try to be a hero, run in and find an extinguisher? Is it B, you immediately pull the fire alarm and get out, warning others on your way? Or is it C, you just quietly shut the door and hope it stays put? I mean it. Think about this one. This isn't a quiz question. This is a survival question. The answer is B, and honestly, it's the only right answer. Pull the alarm and get out. Your life is worth more than any computer, any desk, any building. The rule from OSHA is dead simple. You only, and I mean only, even think about fighting a fire if the alarm has been pulled, the fire is tiny and contained, and you have a clear, easy way to escape behind you. If any one of those things isn't true, you don't fight, you leave, period. So, how'd you do? Tally up your score? Did you ace it? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, even if you got 1 or 2 wrong, who cares? The important thing is you learned something today that might genuinely make a difference. Just remember the big takeaway. Know your fuel, figure out how to break the tetrahedron, and above all else, always put your safety first. If you want to learn more about workplace safety and OSHA rules, subscribe to HSE Study.